This is the MomStar Podcast, episode number 3. Let's do this. She is a widow, a mom, my grandmother, and a great-grandmother. Today, on International Day of Elder People, I would like to introduce Romelia Espinosa. She shares a few short stories of her life's journey. Enjoy! All right. Hello. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the MomStar Podcast. I would like to introduce one of my favorite people on this earth. It is my grandmother, Romelia Espinosa. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so she's going to be 83 soon, and I feel like she has a lot of knowledge to share. She could tell us a little bit about her childhood. She was a 5-year-old in World War II, right? At that time. She was one sibling out of 12, correct?
You're right.
So can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, I remember the war, World War II. I was 5 years old, and that was a very scary time. We had sirens to warn us of an air raid. When they went on, everyone had to turn the lights out and close the drapes to make it dark. They rationed a lot of the things. I remember my dad had a book of stamps. Whenever he went to the store, he had to give them a stamp and pay for what he got.
So tell us a little bit about the neighborhood.
Well, that neighborhood was nice, I thought, once I grew a little older. I had a lot of friends on my street, and it's like everybody knew everybody, And we even had friends across the boulevard, that we all grew up together and went to school together. We played out on the street, and we would play different kinds of games. And as long as we came inside the house, when the street lights went on, you could do whatever. And the parents didn't worry because everybody felt safe, And we could go to the store or anywhere by ourselves. We left the windows open or the doors unlocked sometimes, and we trusted everybody, and
very family oriented.
Yeah, and that's the way the neighborhood was, And
that's nice. Can you tell us a little bit about your parents?
My mom and dad were a gift from God. They never cursed. They never had a fight. They were loving, understanding, compassionate, and forgiving, and churchgoers. Hardworking people. They became U.S. citizens and were very proud of it. One day, my mom recited the Constitution of the United States in Spanish to me. And she left me with my mouth open because I don't even know it in English.
Oh.
And she was so proud of it, And I was very happy for her, And my dad was very happy too that he became a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
They got married in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was 19 and my dad was 5 years older than her. And in 1923 is when they came to the United States.
Wow.
For a better life.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived in a house about a block away from where my dad built a house. And at that time, during those times, it was hard for all the people, So they were having hard times because there was no work or no money.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad wanted to go back to Mexico. And my mom really didn't want to go, you know. So she had a beautiful stove that my dad had bought her. And when my dad told her, well, we'll go back to Mexico, and my mom said, no, I'm not going back. I'm not going to give up my stove.
Yeah.
So that stove kept my mom here.
Okay.
So I'm very glad for that because we all of
here.
us were born here.
Yeah, yeah.
Or else we would have all been born in Mexico. Yeah. And that house, my dad ended up selling it for $50.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it when he told me, you
Yeah.
know. But I said, $50? Wow. But in those days, I guess that was like a lot of money.
1.5 million today, right? That's what you can buy a house for now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
My dad was a beautiful person. You know.
I mean, that's a lot of children to have. Did he spend time with you guys?
Well, I love to be with him, you know, and he, I don't know if he spent a lot of time with us, you know, with each one, but
he was the breadwinner, right?
He was always working, you know, and trying to make money for the house. You know. My mom was a homemaker. Yeah, she was always home, never worked.
Nice. So did she teach you a lot? Did she teach you guys how to cook, or did she really do the cooking and push you more to do the education thing?
My older sisters helped her.
Okay.
You know, but I learned what I learned just by looking, you know,
by watching,
and doing, you know, asking her questions or that, you know, but I really didn't learn how to cook. I would rather clean the house than cook.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
That's why we eat out so much.
I know. We didn't learn how to cook.
And so you said that when you were 12 years old, you took some classes for sewing and cooking.
Yeah, when I was in grammar school.
Wow, and those are the classes they had.
Mm-hmm. They had for the girls, you know, and not all the girls took them, you know.
They were optional.
I think they were, but I took it, you know, and I learned how to sew. I remember my first blouse I made, and I was so proud of it.
Yeah. So did you used to make your clothes?
Not really, no. Okay. But I learned how to sew, you know, and I liked it, you know. And when I was in junior high, I made a white dress out of linen. It came out very pretty. And after I finished it, I didn't really want it. You know, I said, nah, I don't want it. So my girlfriend liked it and it fit her. So she bought it from me for $5.
Oh, nice.
I said, it's yours. Take it.
$5. That was a lot of money.
I made my first $5 in sewing.
Yeah, that's nice. That's where the entrepreneurship comes in the family.
Yeah.
And so, since you have so many siblings, can you tell us about your clothing and sharing? I mean, you had to share clothes, and how was that? How was that?
It was terrible.
Well, because I know growing up, there were some times where my sisters and I would sneak each other's clothes out of their dressers and then see it on them later. And so did you guys have a lot of that? Because that's a lot of siblings. Yeah.
Well, me and my younger sister were in, you know, junior high and senior high. And my older sister, she had nice clothes because she was working. And she was more our size. So she had all her things, you know, folded real nice in the drawers and everything. So if I borrowed something, I never told her, you know. So I would go and borrow a sweater or whatever it was, and put it on, go to school, come back, shake it, and fold it back that way she had it and put it away.
Did she ever find you?
I know. We never told her, and my younger sister did that too, and we never told her until we were older. And she couldn't believe it. She said, "What?" And but she was the only one that we, borrowed clothes from, and that. My other sister, she got married very young and moved away. And my older sister, she was a little bit bigger than we were, so her clothes didn't fit us, So it was just her. She was a lucky one.
Yeah. She was.
Yeah. Oh, but it was funny. We used to laugh so much afterwards, what we did.
Yeah. And so you guys grew up on the streets, playing out in the yard.
Yeah.
I mean, in the streets.
In the streets.
And then you said as long as you were home by
the time the lights went on,
by lights out,
and we were okay.
You weren't in trouble. So were there any times that someone didn't make it home?
Well, I know I had one of my brothers that he hung out with this guy. I think he passed away already, but he was a bad kid, and he went with him wherever, and he's the only one out of all the kids that would come home late or whatever, because they would go like to the mountain or places, and he wouldn't be back in time. So my dad would get a strap that he had, and he would whip him.
Oh, wow.
And he's the only one that ever got punished with that big belt, But the others didn't, and that. But.
So did he use him as an example? Did he punish him in front of everyone?
Well, he wouldn't say it was an example. He would just punish him because he would leave without telling them where he was, And I'm sure they were worried for him.
You feel like you learned a lot from your parents and turned around and used it?
When I became a parent, I tried to raise my kids, the way I was raised. And my mom always said, go to church, first God and then everything else. So I tried to be like my mom, and follow the way that she raised us.
Your traditions.
Yes. And that, but it was hard because once the kids were growing up, they didn't want to listen.
Yeah. They turn into their own.
Yeah, they do their own little things, Yeah, they do that.
And so you traveled. You said you traveled with your brother.
Yeah, with my brother, we went, like to Havasu and the lakes, wherever he would go, we would go with him.
That's nice. And you became a mom at 20.
Yes.
So you met my grandfather when you were 16 years old.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
But he would come, well, not him, but he would send my two girlfriends that were in high school in his class, and they would come every day and yell for me, Romy, say something, and then they would tell me that he liked me. And
when you say come, do you mean at your house or at
they
school?
They would come to my house.
Oh, okay, to your house.
Because I was already home by the time they would get there.
Okay.
And they would tell me that he liked me, or he sent a message that he liked me. But I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, at the time.
And that, so, they did that every day. They would come by and give me the message. So finally, when I went to high school, I met him, and he was there waiting for me.
And what high school did you go to?
San Fernando.
Okay. And he went into the services?
He went in after graduation. He went into the service at, I think he was 17. He graduated at 17 and went into the Navy.
Okay.
He had been in the service, I think, for a year already when we got married. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you had the baby.
I had my baby.
Your first baby.
Yeah. My son was 3 months old when he came home for his first leave, and I had to take him to the hospital to meet his son because he was in the hospital.
Wait, he was in the hospital at 3 months?
Yeah, he had bronchitis, I think it was.
Oh, wow. Is that why he came out of the service? You said that he had come out of the service. No.
No, when he came out, it is for discharges because I had been in a car accident.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you tell us about your parenthood experience? What was it like to becoming a mom? Tell us a little bit about becoming a mother, your experience. How was your pregnancy? How were all of your pregnancies? Did you have any complications with any of your children?
I was glad that I never had no problems. I know when I had my first son, I used to crave oranges, so I ate a lot of oranges.
That's a craving.
Then when I had my second son, my craving was the ice from the refrigerator that built around the freezer.
Oh.
And I used to go and I used to get mad when I had no ice after defrosting it. And I used to go and scrape it down, and it tasted really good. And after I had him, I says, I want to know what was so good about this ice. And I went and I scraped some off and I ate a spoonful and oh my God. It was so nasty. I said, oh my God, I almost poisoned my baby. That was your dad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that was awful.
It's amazing what pregnancies
do
to our body.
Yeah. But from the other ones, I don't remember. I know when I had my third son, Bob's was still in San Fernando, well, in Mission Hills.
Bob's big boy?
Bob's big boy.
Okay.
So on the way to the doctor, because I was going to go to the doctor first, because he said, come in so we can check you. I was in labor already. And then from there, I was going to the hospital. But I told my husband, I said, I have to stop and eat because they're not going to feed me in the hospital. So we stopped for a big boy, yeah. And when we told the waitress, in those days, they were still roller skating to your car.
Okay.
And today it's Nissan, I think it's right there on the corner of Brennan Sepulveda.
Okay.
Right there. And when we told the girl that, that I was in labor, she panicked. She said, please don't have it here. So that was funny.
Yeah.
That was my third son. And when I had my first daughter, I don't remember having any cravings. But I remember when I was having her that I wanted to see her be born, so they gave me a spinal. In those days, they were called spinals. Now they're epidurals or whatever they call them.
Uh-huh.
And I had that. But then when she was born, I had a feeling it was a boy, so I closed my eyes.
Oh.
So I had that shot for nothing. I didn't see her come out. And the doctor said, oh, you have a beautiful little girl. So I told him, you're kidding, doctor. You're kidding. You're kidding me. He said, no, I'm not. but I couldn't believe him because I had 3 boys. I thought I had another boy. But it was a girl.
There are no ultrasounds at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if they had them, but I never got one.
Okay. So there was no telling the gender. It was a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everything was a surprise. And that, so anyway, when I had my last one, before I went, I had a little glass of milk and a piece of cake. No, that was the best pregnancy I had because I didn't feel
the best pregnancy or the best delivery.
Well, both. Well, I would say the delivery.
Okay, your best delivery.
Because they didn't give me no shots of nothing because I ate the cake and drank milk.
Oh, okay. So they punished you?
Yeah, they did. So I said, But it was nice because afterwards they just told me you have to lay down flat for so many hours and then I could sit up, But she was the best, delivery I had. Because it was like I didn't have no baby at all.
Yeah, yeah. Your body just went back into.
And I said, if I would have only had all the others like this, you
wouldn't have stopped.
But
could have had more kids.
Yeah, no. But when I had her, and they put me in a room. I think there was like 3 other girls in there, and they were all like 17, 18, 19 years old. And the one that was next to me, she said, "Is this your first baby?" I said, "No, this is my last." Because I already had, she was number 5.
Yeah.
But it was, they were all different on my pregnancies.
All your pregnancies and all your deliveries were all different. And there's a big gap, right? So you have your first 2 were 12 months apart.
Yeah.
And then you have from number 2 to number 3, 8 years.
8 years.
And then from 3 to 4, 18 months.
Yeah.
And another gap from 4 to number 5, 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Wow. So
I didn't plan it that way. It just happened that way.
Oh, okay.
That's the way God wanted it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take care of myself.
Okay. So you just kind of, wow. Yeah. Wow. So you didn't plan that 8-year gap.
No.
So were you shocked when the doctor told you?
Well, I had gone to the doctor and I told him to check me, because I wanted another baby. I went to the doctor and he checked me. And the first checking that he did, I was fine. But then I was supposed to go back, and that. And the second time I went, I discovered that I got pregnant. Wow. I don't know what happened because all he did was just check my tubes and make sure they were opened, and they were. And I got pregnant, I guess, from the fright or whatever.
Yeah.
I got scared.
You were ready. You're ready for that next. I'm going to take us back to your mom. My son was 5th generation.
5th generation.
So it was her, you, my dad, me, and my son.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your children's high school experience. So your children went off to high school.
Yeah.
And when they drifted into high school, how did that make you feel?
Young.
Yeah, young. Yeah.
Young. I was so proud of them. Yeah. When my oldest son had a heart of gold because he was always trying to help people that were less fortunate than he was. Where we would go and put gas and the guys would come wash the window. He says, "Go ahead." And then he would say, "Mom, you have some chum change so I can give this guy."
Yeah.
But he's the one that told him to do it.
Yeah, to go ahead.
Yeah. But, that's the way he was, always doing for others, I had a dresser that belonged to their bedroom set that I wanted to hang on for a long time, because it belonged to him and his brother. And he told me that he wanted to sell it to his friend because he didn't have no furniture. So he asked me if it was okay. So I said, if you don't want to keep it, okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a kind of heart he had. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he would rather give the little he had, you know, give it out than for himself. You know. So, but I never knew that God would call him back at 34 years old. You know.
Wow, 34 years old.
And that was the darkest day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
When God called him home. Yeah. And the worst day of my life was when we put him to rest at the cemetery. The final goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
That was the hardest.
That was harder than the phone call
Oh, yeah.
or being in the room when his passing, right? That's
Yeah.
where you were
Yeah.
on his bedside.
Yeah. When we were giving him the last rites, and he opened his eye. And I told his brother, I said, he opened his eyes. And then the nurse was behind us. So he says, hey, what's going on? He opened his eyes and she turned around and checked him. And then he said, can all of you please step outside for a few minutes? So we didn't even give him the last rites. Once we were walking out of the room and I heard code blue, I knew what it was, you know, because my heart told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them running with the little cart and the doctor, you know, and I knew that that was the end because he was already brain dead.
Okay.
But since his heart was still going, that's why he was in intensive care. So he, you know, they told us just step outside. I think it took like, I would say maybe 10 minutes or less. And the doctor came out and said, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's all he had to say, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I knew, even though before he came out, you know. But I told my son, I says, when he opened his eyes, he said goodbye to all of us.
Mm-hmm. That was his goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting how you said he always had a heart of gold, and
Yes.
that was
Mm-hmm.
the thing that kept him going.
Yeah.
That was the last thing that kept him alive.
Yeah. That's why I said my son had a heart of gold. He was so loving, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for those that had less, you know, that were less fortunate. He was my oldest son.
Mm-hmm. Your firstborn.
Yeah.
And he passed at 34 years old.
Yes.
And that was how many years ago?
Yeah, 28 years ago.
28 years ago.
He died on 9/11.
Okay.
So I have my personal 9/11.
Angel.
Yes. My beautiful angel. That morning I saw him. He was walking with a girl around the corner from where we live. And I was going with my daughter, and he says, Mom, there's your son, look. And so I don't know why she drove over like where he was walking and parked like in front of him. I says, why are you stopping? You're going to embarrass him, you know.
Yeah, he was with a
he
girl.
was with a girl, you know. And so I regret it now that I didn't talk to him or anything, you know. And he just looked at us and gave me the beautiful smile he had with his two big dimples, you know. And that, and then I told my daughter, let's go. You're going to embarrass him, you know.
Was that number 5? So, was that your baby?
Yeah, my baby.
Who did that?
Yeah. Yes, my baby.
I am not surprised.
And that's so, you know, we laughed, and that was it until my son came and said, that night, my son my husband slept in the hospital because we were waiting for his mother to die, my mother-in-law, because she was very sick, And so he stayed for the family. He stayed there, in case something would happen during the night. He was supposed to call everybody, When my son went about 3:30 in the morning and saying, Mom, says, get dressed, let's go. I said, where? It says, to the hospital. And I thought maybe my mother-in-law had passed. And I says, oh my God. I said, did Grandma pass already? He says, no, Mom, brace yourself. Says, it's your son. And I said, oh my God, what happened now? So I went and got dressed real fast.
Yeah.
So my daughter was living with me at that time. So she asked me if she could go with us. And I said, yeah. So she went, and her husband stayed with the kids. And on the way, he was telling me, says, what happened, and he tried to give him CPR, and it didn't work, but he called the ambulance.
Yeah.
And they took him because of his heartbeat. And, when he got to the hospital and on the way that he was telling me all this, I didn't want to hear it. I said, that's not what I want to hear. Don't tell me that. I kept saying that to myself, But I was listening to him, but I was going in out the other ear.
So you weren't really listening.
No. And I says, that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that about my son, but when I got to the hospital, and then I knew he was telling me the truth. And
so
my daughter at the time went to wake up her dad. He was in the waiting room, and that's all. He came, and I called all the other kids, we were there. And then when the doctor came in and explained to me what had happened, then I says, I don't want to be here just with my kids. So I had to call my sisters. And I wanted somebody else besides my kids there, So my sister came, her and her husband. Because when I called her, she says, do you want me to go or what? I says, I would love for you to be here with me. She says, okay, I'm coming. So they came, the two of them. So at least I had her support because my kids were as bad as I was.
Yeah.
That was, that day that my son passed away.
Yeah. And this is something like we never think that we're going to experience. And you don't really know how to gauge. You don't really know where to go or what to do. So where did you find yourself at next?
At that moment, it's like I didn't want to be there. Not there.
Yeah.
I want to be, let's go backwards. I didn't want to go forward.
You don't want to face reality.
No. Nope. Because that's very hard. Very hard. Yeah.
And your mother-in-law, my great-grandmother, was ill in the hospital.
Yes.
And he passed away on 9/11.
Yeah.
And she passed away
the day of his services, his wake, she passed away on that day.
So that was like a week later?
A week later. So we had to repeat the whole thing again, a week later. So I can imagine what my husband felt like, but I remember I just felt like hugging him and crying in his shoulder, but somehow I couldn't, Yeah. And one day I heard him crying, and I said, "Who's crying?" And I went in the room, and he was sitting up crying, and I said, "Oh, why are you crying?" And he said, because of my son,
Mm-hmm.
And that really shocked me, because I never expected that. But then I sat next to him and I hugged him, and I says, well, he's in a better place. I'm surprised I didn't break down right there with him,
So you, at that
But
time, you were the strong one.
I had to make myself strong for him. And I told him, he's in a better place now, so don't cry. And that, so anyway, I comforted him in that, but it was hard.
Yeah.
God must have been with me because I don't know how I did that.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, I always wanted to just hug him and cry my heart out, which I did a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I would come home from work afterwards once I went back to work. And it's like nobody would be home. And the minute I touched his closet, oh my God, I would cry with all my heart. And I don't know, but I cried so hard that I thought my head was going to explode. And it felt terrible that in an instant I stopped crying because I got scared. Yes,
Wow.
because my head felt so bad. And I stopped. So I went and I opened the front door. I sat outside until somebody came. I didn't want to be inside the house, not by myself. So I did that time. And then when I moved out of the house, that the girls went somewhere, I don't know where, and they left me by myself. And they told me, Mom, just wait here. We'll be right back. I says, well, since I'm here by myself, I'm going to go and say goodbye to my house. So I went room by room, saying all my memories from that room and the next and the next. But when I got to the closet again, all hell broke loose.
It was like the same thing.
I did the same thing, and it scared me that I stopped in an instant because my head felt like it was going to explode. And then I says, dear Lord, send me an angel to be with me, And I'm there crying, and all of a sudden I heard. And I stopped crying. I said, oh my God, who's here?
Your angel. Cleaning your face, your hair. Yeah. Trying to pull yourself together.
I'm a mess. Why did they come, at this hour? So I looked through the window, and I would have never dreamed of the angel that God sent me. Little Priscilla.
Oh, that was his stepdaughter.
Yeah, well, the girl that he had lived with, and they were going to be parents, but she had a miscarriage.
Okay.
But he was like a dad to her,
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw her, I opened the door and I saw who it was. And I said, oh my God, of all the angels that I wanted,
it was
he sent me little Priscilla. And so I told her, you have to excuse me, because I'm a mess and that. Yeah. So they came in and they stayed there with me until the girls came back, And I said, oh, I couldn't believe that. I asked for an angel and he sent me one.
Yeah. That's nice.
And that was
an experience.
The life that I don't wish on nobody, that part of it anyway. Yeah.
And my grandfather passed away.
The year later, yeah.
So he passed from cancer?
He had cancer.
So did he know prior to their death that he had cancer?
He knew he had cancer because he was getting chemo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he was already going through chemo.
Yeah.
So 1 year later, you had to bury him.
Yeah, and a year after my son, he passed.
Okay. Let's carry on. Let's go on to being a grandmother. Right. At this time, you had how many grandchildren? Oh,
When he passed, I think I only had like 9 grandchildren.
Do you feel like your grandchildren help you get through these hard times?
Oh, yes, yes. I don't know what I would have done without them, because, I mean, without you girls, because your sisters were like 10 and
I
maybe
think I was
11.
10.
You were 10?
Or 9, and Gina
No,
was
9.
11.
I think 9. Gina was 11, and Val was like in
7.
between you, or
7.
Younger, yeah. And because when my son died, the Victoria was 4.
And they lived with you, right?
Yeah.
At the time.
And one of the, every time I got home, I would always get home and sit on the corner of the sofa and just cry my heart out. But then I was there sitting crying, and all of a sudden this little girl stands right there real quietly, and she's looking. I guess she was scared because I was crying. And she saw it was me, and she didn't say nothing. She just got close to me and put her little hand on my shoulder right here, like saying everything's gonna be all right, And just by her doing that, it comforted me so much, Just that little tiny hand, And they do help you a lot, the little babies, when they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're so innocent. And they're just full of pure love.
Oh, yeah. But it's, yeah.
And your sisters helped you, right?
Oh, yeah. My sisters were always there, especially my big sister. She was always helping me, for when I needed somebody to stay with the kids or something. She would come over. Like when I was going to have my first daughter, that day I was going to have a birthday party for your dad. And in the morning I woke up and I had a pain. I said, oh no, not today. And I looked at the clock, and then I started timing them, And I said, oh no, Lord, not today, please.
Yeah.
Not today, I'm having a party, So, once I realized that they were every 5 minutes, I said, I have to call. So I called her, and I told her, I have to go to the hospital, and I need somebody to have a party for me.
You're going to be the host here.
Yeah. So she came over, and I don't know what kind of a party they had, but she took over,
So those two are how many years apart? 10?
My sisters?
No.
Oh, who? My sons.
Yeah, your son and your daughter who share the same birthday.
9 year apart. Those are my 9 year apart twins.
Yes, because they have the same birthday.
Yes. And but it was really funny. And then he tells his dad, is she coming home to wash the dishes now? I said, not yet.
All right, let's talk about 3 events that shaped your life. 3 of the top events that shaped your life. Can you talk about that?
Well, one of them was becoming a parent.
Because it changes you as an individual.
Yes.
So how was that transition? Because I feel like a lot of people feel like they lose themselves through becoming a parent.
I had to learn a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know. It was a new experience for me. So I had to learn a lot in being a parent. And I tried to do the best that I could.
Mm-hmm. And what was your second?
My kids going to high school.
Because that's another transition, right? I feel like as parents, we become these parents. So we have this new role and we find ourselves there.
Yeah.
And then when they get into high school, it's another new role because we are no longer the dependent our kids used to be on. At that time, they're kind of balancing their freedom and their independency. So is that how you feel? I don't know.
That's
how I felt.
The time when they think they know it all.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite. But I used to do that to my father, so I...
Yeah. And they always think they know it all until you tell them, okay, pay rent, pay this, pay that, and then they change their mind.
Yeah, they don't know anything at that time. And your third one, your last one?
It was becoming a grandmother and a great-grandmother. That was a beautiful experience, because it's a gift that God gives you that a lot of people don't get, and becoming a grandmother is like a special love, that you get for your children. And then for great grandmother, it's even more special, but yet you love them all the same. It's different, but at the end, it's all the same. Well, in my case, I can do something for one and not the others, and that's the way I see it. I says, well, I don't just have one or two, I have a bunch.
Yeah.
So I try and be equal for all of them.
Give us your words that you have written down there.
I just want to let all my children know, and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, to love each other, help each other, and forgive each other when they have disagreements or whatever, and for the parents to teach their children to love and respect elders, and especially the property of others, and that's it, just love, because love is the greatest of them all,
Yeah. Share some words with your kids and your grandchildren. Yeah, love wins, right?
Yeah.
That's all we really need.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for all that you've shared with us. All the wisdom and stories and strength that you've shared here with us today. I'm very grateful to have you on my episode. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.